guys, and welcome back to another episode of Out of the Box. This week, we're going to talk about a failed friendship we had, all thanks to our fan C. Chavis0418, who honestly left this question because we asked you guys what we should talk about.
We are not going to be using real names just because it is our private life, but also we're not here to throw shade at this person or anything. So her name's going to be A. That's all we're going to name her. We're just not talking anymore, so that's why we are going to be using her as a failed friendship, because I don't think we've had honest to God failed friendships. I think we just grew up and grew apart.
Yeah.
And that's very different than a failed friendship.
But let's get into why this friendship.
So there was many reasons that it failed, and personally I was more blindsided about it because I didn't see the events that were occurring leading up to the failed friendship, because I was so tunnel vision in my own friendship with this person. Just didn't want to be that person already, on top of she already knew she didn't have many friends.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to be the extra person senior year telling her no.
So all of this happened back when we were in high school.
Yeah. So this was an old high school friend of ours that just turned into now we don't really speak at all. Some of the things that kind of occurred that made me realize, because I was more focused on the relationship, you realized it before I did, and you separated yourself before I did.
Yeah, you definitely were closer than I was.
Yeah. So what were some of the things that you saw in the friendship between the three of us that you didn't like and you had to be actually, I'm gonna pull back?
It was the way that she would make you act towards me. We are usually pretty good with ourselves.
Yeah.
And yes, we do bicker here and there. We argue. We're siblings. We get on each other's nerves. And I think that's normal. But it started to become this person, A, would kind of boss you around and make you do things that you normally wouldn't do.
Yeah.
If A wasn't around.
So she was known as my shadow around school.
She was known as your shadow, but when it was just us three, it definitely felt like you two versus me.
Yeah, I know that part too.
Yeah, our parents had to actually tell her to stop being so mean.
Yeah, and when I say shadow, she did everything I did. We had the same lunch period. We had many of the same classes. I had the friends, and I was that friend that would ask my other friends if it was okay to bring her.
Yeah, because you didn't want to that you could bring someone, but also no one liked her.
I didn't want to leave her out either, because I did think we were friends. There were many different occurrences. So May said, I would act differently because she was around or when she was around. But then also at school, I started getting a lot of, not heat, I should say, but people were like, why are you so friends with her? Don't you see what she's doing? She's causing so many rumors. She was the one who would start rumors. She was the one who would...
fun. I think she was an attention seeker as well.
Yeah.
She loved the attention when it was on her, even if it was good or bad.
Yeah. Prom was a huge freaking reason why our friendship broke up, and that was... she lowballed me so badly. Long story short, prom was...
She did you so dirty.
Prom was on a Saturday, like it usually is, and all that entire week leading up, everyone's being asked to prom, and so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday came, I didn't have a date yet, and so I knew I was going with a bunch of girls, but I didn't know if everybody had a date yet, and then my cousin's best friend was going to ask me, and I heard that through the grapevine, and my cousin was just like, hey, you know who's gonna ask you, just don't say yes if anybody else does, because he's going to do it on Friday. He was busy, I guess. Yeah.
It was during lacrosse season.
Yeah. So he was busy with sports, he was busy with school, and vice versa, whatever. So I knew Friday I was going to get asked, so I wasn't stressing. And I knew who it was, so I wasn't stressing. Thursday comes around, and A decided to call him one night and start crying and pretty much manipulated him into asking her out to prom.
And I want to say this, they were not friends beforehand, so I don't know how she got the balls to call him.
Yeah, I don't either, because again, A and myself, everyone knew A because she was behind me or always next to me, but this guy that was asking me didn't even like her.
Didn't have classes with her, barely talked to her.
Yeah, didn't really vibe with her at all, and so it was just awkward. forward. And then I hear this Friday morning because my cousin comes running up to me and I'm like he's telling me all this and I'm just like, no, she didn't. Like, she wouldn't do that. Because again, I was still in the, oh, she's my friend. She's not going to do that. Like, why would she do that? Like, that's such a low ball. Wait, it's literally Friday and prom is tomorrow. Like, you would not do that to a friend of yours. At least I wouldn't. And so I never thought she would do that. And then she did, because the guy came up to me and was like, I'm so sorry. I literally freaked out on the phone and like I asked her because she was crying and I was just like, it's not fine and I'm sorry you had to go through that, but it's like, I was so mad that day because I had to see her and I was like, don't talk to me because you know what you did. And so like that kind of cemented it because I never talked to her that Friday. Prom, what was wrong with prom was that we were in the same like group. So when the girls got ready, she was in that group. But then soon later, Friday night, I kicked her out because I was like, you're not coming with me. No one else wanted you there in general. So now I don't want you there. I was like, you're on your own for pre-prom. Go do whatever. Go take your
post-prom?
Pre. Because remember how me and Taylor got ready together and then we met at Elise's?
Yeah.
But she was left to her own because I was like, no, you're not coming with me because you literally stole my date. And I was excited for this date too because I had a small crush on him too, but never really knew if he had the same feelings either. But him asking me to prom would have cemented that, whatever. And so I was really hurt about that too. And I told her off and I was like, you're just being a bitch. Like, why would you do that? You're in the wrong for it. You need to suck it up and you need to say sorry. She never did. And she just laughed it off. And so that reaction, I was just like, yeah, no, we're done. That was the last straw. You can deal with the next, how many weeks of school was after prom?
A month.
A month of school left. So you can do everything your own. You're not coming to lunches with me. I'm not talking to you in the halls. We're not hanging out after school or on the weekends. You have 0 friends now. And I hope that hurts because that's how I felt about prom. After prom, what was funny was her date, which was supposed to be my date, we're all in the same group. Like, we were all gonna go to the same function. So it was awkward because everybody was gonna go to our cousin's house to, like, unchange and get into, like, PJs or, like,
comfier clothing, yeah.
And I think it was sports themed, so we all wore sports jerseys, but we were all going to my aunt's house, and May and I are obviously always invited to that because we're family.
Yeah.
And then our entire group also went and unchanged there, but because A was the date of my cousin's
best friend, yeah.
She didn't know where we were going, and he told, like, my date, or her date, told her, I'm going back to G May's cousin's house. I don't know where you're gonna go. He just left her at prom. And time goes by, we're all at our cousin's house, we're all having fun, and then it's time to go to an actual function. And she was there first because nobody invited her to the house where we were undressing and getting ready and whatnot. And the night goes on and whatever, and then I took her date at the end.
Yeah, I remember at that after party, it was Gio, your date.
Yeah, I also had a date. I forgot, but somebody found out I didn't have a date on Thursday and asked me Friday after this entire dilemma. So I did have a date, and he did come to the pre-prom thing for photos and stuff like that. And then he also was my +1 to the after party.
Yeah, and so it was all fun. Everyone was there, but it was weird to have that situation or know that situation happened. And A was there too, but we were nice. We still included her. We still have videos of talking to her, hanging out with her. We weren't rude, straight to her face. But you can imagine feelings and how awkward it was after all of what she did.
Yeah, because she was still there acting like nothing happened. And I hate those people that act like they're in the right and or they didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
And you're like, you don't see what you've done and you can't even apologize for it.
She's that type of person where she'll always play herself or put herself as the victim no matter what, even if it's her. Sounds like narcissist, but fine. It was that type of person, probably still is, where she can never take responsibility.
That, and she can never be said no to.
Yeah. So, if you ever have friends like that, advice, don't hang out with them. Remember, we went to private high school, so it was very small. Our entire senior class was maybe like 130, 200 kids. That's it. So, everyone knew about everyone or knew of everyone, and so we were friends with majority of everyone.
Yeah.
We may not be best friends, but like we knew each other, of each other. We had classes with people. So, it's not like they didn't know know who you were.
Yeah, and everyone knew her as my shadow. So when she tried to say that, like, it was a funny joke, it wasn't, because then people would come to me and was like, is this actually, like, what she did? And I was like, yeah, I'm pissed off. I'm actually hurt about it. We're not friends anymore. And I told that to everybody who asked me, because I was like, no, we're not friends. That's not what a friend would do to you.
So I guess that was the final,
like, cemented we're not friends. That was pretty much the only failed friendship we talked about or even experienced, because others are just small little, we just grew apart, and I don't think growing apart is failing.
No.
That is the end of this storytelling episode, because somebody wanted to hear what happened or if we've ever actually had a failed friendship, and we have. So we are not perfect all the time. That is the end of this episode. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure to keep listening and keep loving, and we will see you in the next episode. Bye! Bye.